All right, welcome back. Sidebar is returning this week after having a week off last week. I'm still not feeling too well myself, a bit of a croaky voice, having had the flu for a little bit. But with me tonight, I have got Krabator himself, Reverb. How you doing?
It's me. I'm doing well, thank you very much. I hope everyone has thoroughly enjoyed the grand rise of the Horde and Garrosh himself as much as I have. It is just a joy to be axe flinging around in Hearthstone again.
We have you have been championing Warrior since the beginning of the expansion, so it's actually nice to play some Warrior cards and get the archetype moving a bit. Also with me, all the way from Sweden, Chewy himself. Welcome, Chewy.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to have you on board. Hopefully, you've got a bit more of an expert opinion than the bad takes that we usually have on the show, especially yours, Reverb. Not naming
And mine are,
anybody,
mine are extra bad.
Surely.
they can be pretty bad. All right, first up, we've got Wild Series, so we'll kick over there. All right,
Y-
yeah.
yes.
Wild Series, Player of the Week for round four. If you want to tell us who that was, Chewy.
Yes. Being one of the undefeated players left, Stinzy managed to keep his win streak alive with a very much needed 3-0 victory. His clutch victory in this confrontation between the two APM teams allowed Anoyo Punk Music to end the week in a tie against Alphas playing Minecraft. The 4 points he got were not only important for the week, but also for the very close race to the playoffs. Congrats to Stinzy.
Oh, very well done, Stinsy, on a nice 3-0 win. And yeah, one of the only undefeated players still in Wild Series. All right. So there were three matches played as usual in Wild Series each week. One team gets the bye. The first match that we will be covering is the APM versus APM match. Reverb, do you want to take us through this one?
Yeah, and this is kind of amazing. We feature APM versus APM, and it ends in clearly the only way it could have, a tie. 13-13 with Alphas playing Minecraft, just winning one more match than Annoyer Punk Music. It's the script writers are doing well this season. I mean, you really can't get better than the two teams from the same place eyeing. It's uh it's nice to see, and it came down to just a few games. Lowbrow got swept, which means the rest of this crew really has to wrap up games, and that they did. Unfortunately, Pasca could just not get that extra game to get them just ahead, and it comes down pretty close. A lot of 3-2s, or a lot of 3-2s, 2 3-2s, with Mike's. Oh wait, there's an L. Mlix Blue versus Squirrel and Maxi versus Unburnt. Could have gone the other way as well. If Maxi doesn't get the second game in there, then Alpha's come up just ahead. So really, everyone has done quite well here to have it so close, and none of the decks look too outlandish. There's a Highlander Paladin and a Frog Shaman, which might be a bit whack, but Questline Druid's still everywhere. Um, it's featured in a lot of the bans as well. I think there's, if I read it correctly, 6 Questline Druid bans. So, I hope everyone involved had a great time because it from at least looking at this, it looks like it was a really good match.
Yeah, my team got out to a 8-1 lead. Stinsy played first and Rebob was second. And then I can't remember which order it was, but Slight played last, so we had a 2-3 loss and a 2-3 loss, and then we knew Slight gets 2 points, we still win. And he won the first game and then ended up losing the next 3. So like he got the game to make sure it was only going to be at worst a tie first up, and then he just couldn't get a win on his other another win to get the extra point. So it ends up a tie. But going from an 8-1 lead to a tie, not the best result, but still a point, and sort of keeps us in a good spot on the ladder as well. Chewy, did you want to talk us through the ladder for the Wild Conference, Green Conference?
Sure. So in the top with 70 points and a 4-0 record, we got the Shakers Symphony. And then at the second and third spot, we got the 2 APM teams at 53 and 52 each. Alphas playing Minecraft at a 1-2-1 record, and Hanoi Punk Music at a 2-0-1 record. In the fourth, we got Wild THL Fanatics at 51 with a 1-3 record. We got World Shakers in fifth with a 2-1 record. We got F2L Viridian in sixth place with a 38 points record, 38 points and a 1-2 record. And in the last place, we got Worgen Greasers at 31 points and a 0-3 record.
Yeah, so each team gets a bye this season and plays 6 matches. So 4 of the teams have had a bye. The only teams that haven't had a bye is Shaker Symphony, Alpha's playing Minecraft, and Wild THL Fanatics. So looking at the points per week column there, Shaker Symphony, APM, Noyo Punk Music, and World Shakers are all looking good for 3 of the 4 playoff spots, and the 4th one is very much up for grabs at this stage. Reverb, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, it's deceptively close. Even though Alpha's playing Minecraft, they're in second. I believe they have the bye this week, which means you would probably expect them to drop to probably where World Shakers are standing. But at the same time, based on AOS, they have had a very tough run so far. So even though they're coming in the bye and they're probably going to drop 3 spots just because how bye weeks work, if they run after the next 3-ish, 2-ish, 2 games. 2 games? 2 games. I'm pretty sure it's 2 games. The next 2 weeks are going to be way easier. They could definitely sit themselves in that 4th playoff spot. Maybe. I don't know who they would knock out. I don't know, but it's it's way closer than it looks. Even though F2L are like sitting near the bottom and Shakers have a 20-point lead, I don't know if F2L can mathematically make it, but they're obviously like that based on previous seasons. F2L are not a team to like shake a fist at, so that middle pack is definitely super super close, and I would keep an eye out.
Yeah, I think with 4 of 7 teams making playoffs this season, I don't think any team's eliminated yet. Even Morgan Greases, they could finish with a 3-3 record and still get in there. 31 points from 3 matches isn't too bad in your losses. So if they get a few good wins, they could still get there as well. All right, next we'll move on to Wild PPR. So Wild Player Power Rankings, we always cover this come round 4. So to get our first look at the power rankings, I'll get Chewy to read through the honourable mentions. I'll just put them up on the screen.
All right. Thank you. So for the honorable mentions, we got Azelia Akari at 1-1 with the 5-3 game score. We got Reno Jackson at the 2-1 record and a 6-5 game score. We got Devalion at a 1-0 record and 3-1 game score. We got Marty B at a 2-1 record with a 7-5 game score. And we got Slate at a 2-1 record and a 7-4 game score.
All right. Do you want to continue on with our top 10?
Sure. So in 10th place, we got Copa at 2-1 and a 7-7 game score. We got Marchen in the 9th place with a 1-0 a 1-0 record and a 3-2 game score. We got M Likes Blue at a 2-2 record and a 10-9 game score. In the 7th, we got Memnarch at a 2-1 record and an 8-5 game score. We got Stinzy, who did exceptionally well this week with a 3-0 record and a 6-2 game score. We got Zach in the 5th with a 3-1 record and a 10-5 game score. In 4th, we got Nice Jewish Owl at a 3-0 record and a 9-3 game score. In 3rd, we got Seth for Christ at a 3-1 record and 11-9 game score. In the 2nd, we got Lorthos at 4-0 record and a 12-4 game score. And in the 1st place, we got Dr. Bombed at a 4-0 record and 12-6 game score.
Alrighty. Reverb, who's your pick? Who do you reckon is going to take out the MVP here? Who do you like there at the top of the leaderboard?
Well, none of my safe picks are here. None of the people are like right at the top. I actually thought Reno Jackson. I think I said Reno Jackson at the start was someone to look out for. But I mean, if Dr. Bomb keeps going, I think Dr. Bomb might have it. I think Lorthos is the only one that could make. I mean, but if theoretically everyone else can catch them, but Lorthos coming out 4-0. If Lorthos keeps going, then
I think Stinzy's gonna do it.
Stinzy's also Stinzy. I'm assuming has had the bye as well.
Yeah. Stinzy and Nice Jewish Owl have both had the bye, so they're both undefeated. Stinzy also had a DQ win. That's why it's only 6-2. He had a DQ win in there as well. But yeah, those 4 players are undefeated. Seth's dropped 1 match, and same with Zach, but they're both still got pretty good record. It'll probably come from somewhere in that top 7. I would say.
Yeah, you would want to go undefeated. I would think. I would be. I think 2 people can finish undefeated. I reckon. I wouldn't think there would be many other people that would finish undefeated.
I can tell you that the 4 players with a 0, that's going to be their 2 of them are playing each other, and the other 2 are playing each other. So.
So there's going to be 2 after this week.
There's only going to be 2 after this week, and we should move there and we'll talk about our match of the week last week. So I'll just move player of the week out of the way. Reverb, do you want to talk about our match of the week last week between Lorthos and Copa?
Yes, the way that Lorthos has come to his undefeated victory is by going through Copa, and Copa is no player to like take for granted. Copa is pretty good. The decks were Lorthos on Questland Druid, Quest Mage, Shadowwalk Shaman, and Even Warlock, and Copa was on Beast Hunter, Mech Paladin, Highlander Shadow Priest, and then of course Shadowwalk Shaman himself. So slight contrast in the lineup. Copa going slightly more aggro with the Beast Hunter and Mech Paladin, whereas Lorthos had a little bit more of the combos with Questline and Quest Mage. It being wild, I think sometimes those combos are so fast you almost call them aggro decks, but that's a different conversation. The wins with which deck were Warlock bet the Paladin first up, so the Even Warlock over the Paladin. then Druid over the Paladin, and then Druid over Hunter, and Mage over Hunter. So not too bad there. Fairly simple victory for Lothos by the seams of it. He banned the Highlander Shadow Priest, and Copa actually didn't want to play against Shaman despite being the Shaman expert, which is fair enough. I think Shaman probably has a very good matchup into Beast and Mech Pally, and I can't imagine the mirror is enjoyable. But you know, it it looks fairly easy on paper. I can imagine it probably was not as easy, but a 3-1 victory over Copa sets you in a pretty good light, I reckon. So maybe the MVP is Lothos.
Yep. Good win for Lothos. He went undefeated last season as well in the regular season, so he's definitely on track at 4-0 for another top season. Chewy, did you want to talk us through our match of the week for next week? It will not be Lothos versus Stinzy. It will be the other two undefeated players. Tell us a little bit about these guys, if you know much about them.
Wait. Oh, it's not. Is it? Sorry, is it the one in the notes or is it the one on the stream?
The one on the stream, so Dr. BOMD versus Nice Jewish Owl. I did have that on the notes at the bottom, but yeah, I just switched around who's doing what. Yep.
Okay, so I don't know a lot about the Dr. Boom at all, but Nice Jewish Owl is an excellent player, at least for standard. I don't really know a lot about Wild at all, because it's not a format that I've been playing a lot of at all. Both players have been doing really well in Wild in particular. And I feel like this should be a close matchup overall, just going by their stats and their deck choices in previous weeks. And I think it's going to be interesting because Nice Jewish Owl tend to lean towards a little bit more outlandish deck choices than other players in my experience. So it could be fun to see what he's gonna bring to counter another undefeated player. It's gonna be a cool match to watch for sure.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing how this one goes, and we'll talk about it next week, and also how the other match goes between Lothos and Stinzy. So with not many rounds left to go, the MVP race is sort of heating up, and when you get a couple of undefeated players meeting towards the end of the season, it certainly is exciting to see how those matches go. All right, we're going to switch it across to Pro Series now. Okay, Pro Series. We're going to start off with Pro, looking at our feature match from last week. Chewy, I'll get you to talk through this one. We had our last two undefeated players matching off last week. Tell us how this one went.
So Lasagne managed to sweep Priest with Rogue, Demon Hunter, and Paladin. Just saying that sentence feels really weird. Sweeping is sweeping. Oh, sorry.
The other matchup.
Sorry.
So I skipped a segment. So hang on, we'll get rewind. Feature lineup. Here we go. Do you want to tell us about the feature lineup from Lasagna from last week?
Yeah.
If you can tell us
Sorry.
about this one. my bad.
Yeah. So Lasagne got the sweep versus someone I don't remember right now. But they swept for Priest with Rogue, Demon Hunter, and Paladin. And they played Mech Paladin, Outcast, Demon Hunter, and Pirate Rogue. This just saying sweeping priest sounds really weird to me. No matter what priest it is, because like shadow priest just murders people, and control priest is control priest. Like you sweeping that is like practically
Yeah,
impossible,
he played
from my experience.
he played against Heat Shock, and Heat Shock was on extra large control priest.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know how he managed to pull this through, uh, but I can see Pirate Rogue doing it because Pirate Rogue goes face, and if the priest don't run Viper, it's just free real estate for the weapon to get through. But getting Mech Paladin through and Outcast Demon Hunter versus a priest is very impressive. Because usually the priest is able to keep the board clear enough to not get wrecked by Halveria. And versus Mech Paladin, you have so much removal access that, in my opinion, the Mech Paladin shouldn't get through in 9 out of 10 cases. But there are obviously scenarios where priest just doesn't draw the removal, and if they don't, you just lose. And that might have been what happened there. But I like the deck choices from Lasagne. It's a bit outlandish, but not that outlandish. And the Pyrogue has a slot in the tournament meta for sure, where it squeezes through versus some of the most popular decks. So yeah, really spicy and really good call from Lasagne, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, good win. It's nice looking at the pro decks because there's always the ability to sort of bring decks without, like in Hero and Legacy, people have got opportunities to tech against what you're bringing. So the pro series really gives you that opportunity. You're only playing one match. It's not like a tournament. You only have to. You can bring a target lineup. You can bring something that's good into certain other archetypes that you might be expecting to bring, and this is looks like one of those lineups where they've obviously had an idea of what they might be facing, and brought some decks that are a little bit off meta, but still good decks that can get wins against other good decks.
Yeah.
Reverb, did you want to add anything here? Would you be playing these four decks this current week?
This current week, no, because I feel like there may have been just a minor few extra cards added to the card pool this week due to unforeseen circumstances. But I will admit, I was playing a little bit of the Pyro Rogue before the mini set dropped, and I didn't mind it. It and Mech Paladin are probably the closest you're gonna get to like an aggro deck in standard at the moment. Or well, back then, I guess, only a week ago. Um, the other kind of aggro decks aren't. They don't feel like those conventional face decks. Even like there's some hunter stuff running around, but it doesn't feel like old face hunter where you're like really bursting your opponent down by turn 5. But the mech paladin and the pirate rogue do have quite the chance to do that. So I can see how they kind of could have got the win if Goldwing sticks and then gets buffed. You kind of just kill someone. Doesn't matter what class they're playing. So uh, good angle from Lazan to bring these decks. I think he normally kind of goes the more face route. I swear I've only seen that guy. Uh, every wild lineup always has Beast Hunter in it. He quite likes those kind of decks. But if it works, it works. And for a player like Lazan, who is very, 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 very good at Hearthstone, I cannot blame him for keeping on with the strategy of face decks.
Yep. Okay, moving on to our featured match from last week. So, Reverb, do you want to tell? Hang on, Chewy, do you want to tell us about this match between Wild Nine and Lotus Knight? They were our last two undefeated players. or 3-0 players.
Yes. So Wild 9 beat Lotus Knight with 3-2. He did so with Big Demon Hunter, Frost Decay, Burn Mage, and Enraged Warrior versus Lotus Knight's Relic DH, Frost Decay, Burn Mage, and Control Priest. I'm not sure how the matches went. Give me a second. It went Wildlands Mage beat Priest. The Frost DK beat Mage. And then the Warrior took 2 losses versus Priest and Mage, and then the Warrior beat the Demon Hunter. Uh, uh, I think this is how the games should go. Actually, I like just by looking at the lineups, I think Wildline should win. Because his lineup fares better into what Lotus Knight brought. The big DH being a good call, especially into last week's meta. I myself I'm a big fan of it, and I took it into Heroic Brawl, so I know what power that they possessed. And it's actually really favored into all of Lotus Knight's decks that he brought, which is why it got the ban. But yeah, I think Wildlight did what he was supposed to do, and he got the win. And I think he should have gotten the win as well, no matter the opponent, because yeah, as long as the decks draw normally from both sides, I think Wildlight is very favored.
Excellent. River, do you want to tell us about our matchup of the week next week, and tell us a bit about these two guys?
Yes, it is Super Chicken versus Jespin. Unfortunately, we cannot feature players that are undefeated versus undefeated players anymore because there's only one undefeated player, and that was from the previous match, Wild 9. So Super Chicken and Jespin are both sitting at 3-1, and these are two really, really, really capable players. Jespin's been going on a tear. If you've been around THL long enough, you know who Super Chicken is by now, alongside Jespin. But Super Chicken is quite a household name almost. And interestingly enough, because it is a 2-week kind of match at the moment, the scoreline for their teams respectively already is Super Chicken's team is on 6, F3L, and Zymox and Chill is on 4 currently. They have had 2 matches go out, and so F3L currently 2 points ahead with 3 matches left to play. That probably means all of them are going to be important, unless 2 of them are sweeps to the same team out of nowhere. They are going to be important games. So this one is going to matter a lot, and I expect it to be well fought. And if it is anything other than a 3-2, I'll be mad.
Yeah, Chewy, how do you reckon this one will go? Who do you favour in this matchup?
I said it. I said that before that Jesper shouldn't have been in the 3 seed in any series because he's way better than that. And I think that, like on paper, obviously, Super Chicken wins, right? But I think that with the correct, if he gets there, I think Jesper might get there. I'm gonna be bold and say that Jesper gets there. I have faith in my boy.
That's what we like to hear. Big calls, big calls. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about this one next week, seeing how they go, what they brought, doing a bit of analysis. But yeah, both very good players in the 1 seed for their teams at the moment. So yeah, it should be a good matchup. When it comes to the Pro MVP run, I think Wild9 was due to play Based this week, and Wild9 needed a sub. So, and then I think Based lost as well, who was 3-0. So it's very wide open. There's no person that's going to go through this season winning every single match. So these guys both being 3-1, if they can get a win and go 4-1, they're well on the way to contesting the MVP for the season. So best of luck to both of these lads this week. Jumping over to Legacy Series next. Just to let you all know, I haven't done any stats this week for any of the series. Obviously, with the change to the meta with the mini set, any archetype analysis or anything from last week or class brings is not going to yield too much from it for the amount of work that goes into it. So we're just going to be covering off for Legacy and Hero. We're just going to be covering off our matches of the week, and then maybe having a look at seeing who we think might get through to playoffs, given we're getting closer towards the end of the season than we were a couple of weeks ago. First up, Legacy Series. Our match of the week last week was Joltzy versus Veralua. Do you want to tell us about this match up, Chewy?
Sure. So it was in the 4 seed. Yoltzi swept the real Allure. With DK beat. Sorry?
Those classes are wrong because that's like 5 matches there. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think I updated the
I just
notes.
Pick it up here. It was a sweep no matter what. What conference was it in? Silver?
Yeah, so it was Death Knight over Demon Hunter, Hunter over Demon Hunter, Paladin over Hunter.
Yeah. So the real Allure brought DK, Hunter, and Warrior, and had DH banned. Had DK banned and brought Demon Hunter, Hunter, and Warrior. And Yoltzi got their Demon Hunter banned. Kind of straightforward matchup. Surprised that Yoltzi managed to get a sweep with a Paladin in the lineup because Paladin wasn't the strongest deck until this week. Kind of surprising that it was a 3-0. On paper, with these classes brought, I feel the real Allure should have at least gotten 1 point on the board, but obviously there are many factors when it comes to Hearthstone games. But yeah, surprised to see Paladin getting a win before miniset. I was not a big Paladin believer. But hey, good on Yoltzi to utilize their decks to their utmost potential and get the sweep.
Yeah, a good win for Joltzi there. I was surprised to see in Game 3 jumping off the Demon Hunter, maybe as a confidence thing after losing the first 2. I would have thought Demon Hunter into Paladin could have got at least a point back before them playing either the Hunter or the Warrior. But yeah, it's all, if you lose the first couple of games, it's always a tough road back in a series. But yeah, well done Joltzi for closing it out in 3 and not letting Veralua get a bit of a sniff that he might still be in the match. Reverb, do you want to tell us about these two guys who are our match of the week for next week?
Yes, I most certainly do. Truth AM versus Jim Philos. This is an important match. Why, you ask? Well, it is a battle of the 5th seeds in another match that is already partway through, Defias with Truth AM are on 10 points up against F2L White, who are on 6 points. Now, there's this match, and there's only one other match to play out. So unless Classy Thug sweeps Ron Mexico in the 2 seed, which I don't want to say anything too spicy, but I don't think Ron Mexico is going to be swept. Jim Philos has a large chance to put up a real fight against Truth AM and get this match back for F2L White. Jim Philos is a little lower PR, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have what it takes. I've heard Jim Philos's name a fair few times, and I'm pretty sure they are all right at the game that we all play called Hearthstone. So, I cannot see what the classes they brought up because it's a 2-week thing and that's not how it works. But we can assume with the current shakeup, I'm going to see some Warrior, I'm going to see some Hunter. I hope I see some Demon Hunter. Man, I'm not sick of Demon Hunter. I really love seeing this class in every single week, just every game. I really love Demon Hunter. So, it could be a close one. There could be kind of being closed list. I don't expect there to be an exact mirror, but there could definitely be a fair few of the same classes brought between them. And so, my tip to either of these two over there listening, start learning your mirror matches right now, because if you think you are bringing Hunter because it's a good deck, then your opponent is also going to be bringing it. So, hope that it is a close one for the sake of close ones, because close ones are fun and I love things being close and down to the wire. But may the best player win, and whoever wins this 5th seed, their team wins the series. Take over.
Yeah, it should be a good match. Defias is sitting first in the conference, and they're ahead in this match so far. So they're having a very good season there. But Jimmy Sweeps could get the job done here with Ron Mexico in the 2 seed. They're definitely not out of it F2L. We're just going to take a look at the standings at the moment. We don't usually look at the standings, but seeing that Her Center was on last week reviewing the week, we might take a look. I'll just see if I can bring it up on the screen. So we've got a visual. Oh. Rookie error here. I didn't prepare this.
I feel like I should be playing elevator music right now.
Here we go. All right, let's whack that in there. I don't know how, it's a bit small, but we don't need to see me here. We can just make that a bit bigger.
Ooh.
There we go. We don't need to see. I need to see Chewy. All right.
Only Chewy.
All right. Let's have a talk about Legacy Series. Reverb, you want to talk us through Gold Conference and where things are at the moment?
Yeah. Gold Conference. At a glance, seems to be actually, I don't know if weak is the word. The points between all of them are closer, and based on average opponent strength, it would seem that all of them have had easier runs. However, if all of them are really close at points, it means it's a close conference. Difficult. Oops All Justin are at the top with 61, and just behind them, Rockstars of Average Size on 56, The Cooler on 52, alongside Cancelled Hearthstone Season also on 52, and Standard THL Degenerates on 41. I just saw Geranium say that we're stealing images from Half Center. Sorry, that's why I laughed. So in the current week, Oops All Justin doing pretty well, getting themselves 8 points. So they potentially can't shoot up many more points, but Rockstars of Average Size potentially could. They are only on 1 point for this week, and they could go whoop, 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 whoop at the top. Interestingly enough, the Cooler are 1-3, but are like on 52 and really, really just behind Rockstars of average size. I don't know of a single game of their series this week has been played. I'm not entirely sure, but cancelled Hearthstone season have the bye this week. They are going to stay on 52 points. Is it top 2 that get out of the conference? Or is it top
Yeah,
3?
it's top 2 in each conference.
It's
If
top
you
2?
sort of with the
Yeah.
buys and stuff, if you look at the points per week, that sort of gives you a really good guide of where the teams are at. So sort of Upsal Justin look like they're a pretty good certainty of making it in gold.
They're probably going to make
having
it,
already
yeah.
had the buy and being still at the top. And then the other 4 teams, it's like,
Reasonably close.
yeah, it could be anybody's really.
And this is where the interesting part comes in. The Cooler are against standard THL degenerates this week. Standard THL degenerates have the 3rd best points per week in the conference. But if the Cooler come out and have a big showing and absolutely wipe them off the face of the earth out of nowhere, the Cooler all of a sudden are going to shoot up into 2nd, gap themselves a bit between the others, and the conference gets very topsy-turvy very quickly. So being a close conference, it can other than Upsal Justin, I think the other 4 teams could definitely see themselves in the 2nd spot. Just depends on these next few weeks how they go.
Yeah. I'll quickly run through red. So Albatros's play mistakes at the top. They're looking really good for a playoff spot. And then the next 3 teams, so Season 24, ET, and my APM team, they're the other 3 teams that are all sort of vying for that 2nd spot for the playoffs. I think there's going to be a lot. Sort of most of the cross-conference matches were played early in the season, so there's a lot of in-conference matches still left to play. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these teams go. Obviously, ET and APM there have had the bye. Season 24 yet to have the bye. So, but yeah, points per week currently it's ETs. But yeah, the other 2 teams are definitely still in it. And Dead Legend at the end there, 0-4 with the bye this week, not looking good for them this season. Chewy, do you want to talk about Silver Conference?
So Silver Conference, we got Defias in the lead with 81 points. Big W Esports in the 2nd at 63. Dust Ups in the 3rd at 60. Symphony of Clowns at 46. And F12 White at 45. Defias looking in a comfortable lead right now. High PPW, high points, and high AOS as well.
Yeah, I think Silver Conference had a round earlier in the season where everybody in Silver beat everybody in Red, which is why the Silver Conference is sort of jacked up a little bit. And they've all got a very high average opponent strength with their matches, apart from the stubs there. But yeah, that's why their points per week sitting a bit higher, and their records are a bit better than the the Red Conference records. But yeah, so yeah, Defias currently in first. The other teams all chasing. The match we're covering before was for our match of the round was Defias versus F2L. So it really is a must-win match for F2L this week if they want to try and keep up with the teams above them. If they drop the match this week against Defias, yeah, they'll be 2-2, but at the bottom of this group of teams. Which is a very competitive conference at the moment. All right, Hero Series. We'll jump across to Hero Series, keep the show moving. Our match of the week last week. Chewy, I'll get you to talk through this one. I'll put it on the screen. Here we go. 2-star Mako 3-2. The
MPV
versus MP over MPV. So the double reigning MVP versus MPV.
Yeah, so Mako beat MPV 3-2, close matchup. MPV started out strong, getting the Priest win over Poland. And then to some Mako queued his his Priest into MPV's Priest and got the win there.
Priest
I'm
Mirror.
just gonna assume that MPV played Aggro Priest. Because if you voluntarily queue into a control piece mirror, you are built differently for sure. And then game 3, MPV beat the Priest with his Rogue. Tuzo Mako slammed back with the Demon Hunter versus Rogue, and then in the last game there was a Demon Hunter mirror, and Mako came out with the upper hand in that matchup. I just feel like a lot of the times I feel like Mako has the better end of the stick in THL. He gets there more often, and we can see this here as well with the Demon Hunter mirror getting through. Two strong players overall, but Two Star Mako has been on a real, I don't know what to call it, like a real rampage the last few seasons of THL. So seeing him get the win again is not surprising, but a very strong showing from him for sure, and always important in these last weeks of the season to get the wins when you're able to.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see here winning the Priest Mirror and the Demon Hunter Mirror. So, it just shows like even maybe that skill level in the mirror matchups. Sort of often the better player or the better skilled player will win those matchups. But it still comes down to what you draw and everything like that. But yeah, to win both of those mirrors was a good outcome for him. I did have 2-star Marco on my legacy team one season, but I didn't get to keep him after that. So probably one of the best 4 seeds I've had on my legacy team. Yes, Reverb, I know you're in the room.
Oof. I don't know if I'm heard or not.
No, it's right. No, you're a good 4 seed too, Reverb. Reverb, do you want to tell us about these guys, which is our match of the round for next round in Legacy Series?
Why? It would be my honor. Though I think someone else might have to do a bit of talking here as well, because why, it's gonna feature our co-host for this week, Chewy versus Ron Mexico. Now, even though it is a two it could have been a good fight. I'm upset about that one. It could have been a good 2-week series. None of the games have actually been played this week. So Chewy and Ron Mexico are both sitting in the first seed at 550 PPR. PPR? PPR. PPR. It's called PPR. I just had a brain fit. They are both sitting at the top, max PPR, and Chewy's actually undefeated this season. And, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope Chewy doesn't leak his secrets and Ron Mexico is watching and finds out how to beat Chewy. But these are two fairly, really, really good players. And they're going to duke it out, and we're going to look at it next week, and it's going to be fun. Chewy, how are you going to beat Ron Mexico?
I have no idea.
Okay, that's...
I can't help you. I lost twice to him in the first round, so I've got nothing.
I tried last season. I faced Ron Mexico as well, and I know that Ron Mexico always brings Hunter. So last season I thought, okay, so I bring 3 decks that beats Hunter at like 60 to 70%. All right, so I did that, and I still lost 1-3. So I don't really have a plan right now.
Well, conveniently for you, Hunter has also become quite good again in
Very
the recent
conveniently
week.
for me, yeah.
So you can just counter Hunter again, right?
Surely. No, I I have had the opportunity to play quite a lot of the miniset because there has been like bank holidays and stuff, so that I haven't had work. But I feel like trying to counter Hunter in this meta is like it's not it. So the plan might be to just like
Ban Hunter.
ban the Hunter and just high roll the other games. Like that's all I have.
If only there was a class known for high rolls that might start with D and end with Ruid. Would you potentially bring a
Nope.
class if it
No,
sounded like
nope,
if it was
nope,
fit that
nope,
description? No,
nope.
okay.
I refuse.
So all cards are on the table. Ron Mexico's gonna bring Hunter. Chewy is never in his life gonna bring Druid. The scene is
Yes.
set.
Yes. Correct. Okay, so for Teal we got, or should I take both
I was muted
conferences?
there. Chewy, can you run us through the conferences? Thank you.
Okay. So for Teal we got the Balls and Sladders Enjoy Dabbing at 89 points. In the second we got Golden Wisps at 70. We got one of the APM teams, Arcanist Before Miracles at 669 points, just 1 point behind the Wisps. We got Dad Legend at 53 points, and we got Somewhat Hastily Improvised Team at 41. In the purple, though, we have Department of League Administration, 68 points. We got Let Them Cook at 57, and also at 57 we have F12 Black as well. And then we have my team in the bottom here, Always Packing Mana at 49. And at the absolute bottom, we got Any Primers at 41. So for Teal, I think Ballers are looking pretty set for the top two. Golden Wisps and APM are gonna fight it out for the second place. And in purple, League Administration are looking good. I highly doubt that APM or any Primus can sneak past F12 or Let Them Cook. But I think that Let Them Cook is probably gonna take it. What's funny is that every single team in in purple is 1-3 except for League Administration.
Yeah. Unfortunately, one of those top three teams in teal is going to miss out, and unfortunately, one of those 1-3 teams in purple is going to make it.
Oh no.
But there's been a history of the team that sort of sneaks into Hero Series playoffs, like limping on one leg with a, with a cast on their arm as well. Gets to playoffs and actually does something. And this season with playoffs, there's only 2 matches. You only have to win twice. So semi-finals and finals. So just 2 wins. You only have to get there. Doesn't matter what your score is. Doesn't matter if your record's 2-4, and you can still go. Actually, we're at 8 games, don't we? So 3-5, 3-5 records probably good enough in purple. It doesn't matter. Once you're there, you just have to win 2 games. That's it. Yeah, so we'll move along before I lose my voice completely to crossover. And we'll have a look at which players, not me, dominating across the different series this season. So, Reverb, do you want to tell us about these players? I'll just put it up on the board.
put it up, but it's already been leaked. Azay Lakari has it. Wow! Wow! They lied! Azay Lakari, their death has been greatly exaggerated because they are still on the board, despite saying in chat they are not on the board. At fifth, we have Dr. Bomb, 8-3 with a 30-19 record. Not too bad, doing very well in Wild, then it is showing at the moment. Azalea Akari, not gone, vanished from the rankings at all. 7-2, lost a couple there, but that's okay. 25-11, still very respectable. Above in third is Based Inked, 8-3 with a 29-12 record. That's fairly good, I reckon. Lima, 9-3 with 28 and 21, and just above Lima is Neji on a 9-3 tear, 29 and 18. Just that extra win over Lima with just a few less losses, and Lima really sitting in second purely by playing one more match by the looks of it than Based Inked. So, you know, rankings are still pretty tight at the moment. No one clearly dominating. So we will see how much they shift again next week, and if Neji can stay in the lead.
Yeah, for full rankings, you can go to the THL website. The crossover stats are there, and it'll list people in the order of their PAR, which is what's used to decide the power rankings. So we're just sort of looking at a top 5 here with win-loss records and stuff, just to get a bit of a guide. But you can check out the full rankings on the THL website. Okay, last thing to do for the night. We'll go back to our main screen. We have a checkout question for the night. And this is it. So I'll ask you first, Reverb. Which two people in the THL community have you not played on a team with, but you've always wanted to? Here's your shout out. Captains have just been announced. Who do you want to play with next season, Reverb? Put your hand up.
Yeah, this is
Who do you want to play with?
this is a funny one because I've been around since Wild Series became a thing, but I've somewhat kept close to the group of people I played with. When I first played, I was actually on a branch of um unknown that like Kel and stuff got me into. Um and I played with like Shia and some other people. And I wanted to play on one of the other unknown teams. So one of the people would be and I've played against them a couple of times, and they're pretty cool. I would love to play on a team with Brushy Tuna, um, and the other would be because I tried to get them into THL. By try to get I told them that they should play once because I needed a team member. Uh, Corb. I always want to play with Corb because Corb is very good at Wild, and I needed someone on my Wild team. So those would be my two picks.
All right, we've got Azalea in the chat says he wants to play on my team. We can arrange that, and also with Super Chicken. So we'll have to see if we can all get on the same team. Chewy, which two people in the THL community have you not played on a team with, but you've always wanted to play with?
Hmm. I guess maybe. I guess it would be cool to play with Just in Time because he's a decent player, and I've had some battles with him in THL. I think we're like he might have one more game on me than I have on him, but I think we're kind of even. So he's probably Just in Time and maybe Super Chicken.
Yep.
That's just
Good,
off the
good choices.
top of my head.
I haven't played on a team with Justin, but I saw a lot of the prep and the way he communicated in the APM team, hero team that Dronium's team that won the playoff, that won the championship. So Yeah, he'd be high up on my list. For me, the number one player I would love to play with is Ron Mexico. He always loves my banners and my team names. He always, on the preseason reveal, he's always going on about my team names and banners, and being somebody who also enjoys playing a little bit of Hunter, I think it'd be a lot of fun on Ron's team. And that also means I don't have to play and lose to Ron, which may also be a factor there. Not going to lie. The other person is Danker's dad. Everyone always talks about Danker's dad and his deck building and his theory on the game and stuff. So I think it'd be pretty cool to be on a team with Danker's dad as well. But yeah, there's a lot of players that I haven't played with, and yeah, I think I'm going to be around a while, so I'll probably get around and play with a few more players as the seasons continue. All right, I just want to, we're coming to the end of the show now. Big thank you, Chewy, for jumping in last minute and jumping on the show for us. With Yo Daddy had to couldn't make it last minute, so I appreciate you jumping on board and giving us a chop out. Did you have?
For having...
Yeah. Did you have anything you wanted to say as we finish up the show?
No, just thank you for having me. I am not very experienced with these kind of shows, so sorry if I was a bit stilty. But yeah, I would love to be back.
Okay.
And thank you for hosting the show. By the way, it's really fun to watch because it's on my time zone, so I can have it in my ear while I'm working as well. So it's been really fun to listen to while at work.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of fun. And I think with THL as well, as the more shows and the more content we can put out there for people to catch, share a bit of news or get a bit of information, it's better for the community to have all of those things. So I really enjoy doing the show. I'll be doing it again next season and continuing afterwards. So, and yeah, if anybody does want to come on the show, just send me a message and say, hey, I'd love to be on the show. Suits my time zone, and I'll see if I can get you on. Really good to get more people involved in content. Reverb, did you have any last comments before we go?
Enjoy Warrior while you can. Last time it was very good very quickly. It got nerfed, so
Here's to hoping.
No, I have vied for Garrosh's return for pretty much since we started this show, and it has happened, and now I am scared because it might be a little too good, but we will see. I hope everyone has some fun Hearthstone with the new mini set cards. I know I'm liking them. And let's pray that Demon Hunter isn't around next expansion because I'm bored of it.
You were not prepared, Reverb.
I was not.
Got him.
All right, yeah. All right, thanks everyone for jumping into chat, having a chat with us tonight. Thank you, Chewy. Thank you, Reverb. If you would like to have your match played on stream, please hit up Saku or Wild Knight. I think Wild Knight's still doing Saturdays, or he might be away. But hit up Saku for Friday and Sunday nights. I will be playing on stream against Super Chicken in Legacy Series this Sunday. Come and watch me lose. I mean, do my best against Super Chicken and hopefully get a win. But yeah, hit up Saku. Get your match on stream. It's a lot of fun. Even if you don't win, it's still a lot of fun to get on there and have your match streamed. My nephews like to watch me play. They think I'm a celebrity because they can watch it on their little tablet and stuff. So yeah, looking forward to that. Tune in later for Hearth Center, 9 o'clock Eastern, with Lotus and the crew. And we'll be back again next week for another episode of Sidebar. Thank you all and good night.
Bye.